The following is a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio. From hot dogs to cool kitties, this is Darkside of the Pooch.
Welcome back to a 2024 Dark Side of the Pooch. He is Dr. Ab Stewart, the Rossburg General Hospital. He owns The Joint. It's a fantastic place, 208-0301, 208-0301, and Dark Side of the Pooch, always brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics, and also Ed's Pet World. I'm heading down to Ed's a little bit later on this week. I'm having a guinea pig breakout. By the way, have you had small animals? I know you've dealt with horses and giraffes. And obviously you take care of our little puppy dogs and our kitty cats. Have you ever been into a rodent kind of guy? You ever been to the gerbils, the hamsters, that kind of thing? Are you into that?
I've never owned them. I think they're really cool, but I've never had a personal exotic pocket pet of my own.
No.
Maybe one day my mom will let me have one.
So my daughter, and it's really weird because my daughter's sick again today. Whenever you and I do a show, she's sick. It's the most bizarre thing. And she didn't know I was doing a show with you today, because normally I would say she's trying to get sick so she can actually talk to you. She's in the other room taking a nap, but she's got some crud going on, and I was like, no, it's just so happened that he's doing a show with me, so she's on the couch. Anyway, so we got the gerbil thing, right? And the gerbils there's gerbils, hamsters, and guinea pigs. That's the best way I could put three different type of vermin, if you will, in a group, and I can only go vermin by their size. Gerbils are small. Hamsters are quite large, and then guinea pigs can be the size of like a small burrito, like the size of your head. I mean, they're huge. And so I did the gerbils. They're super small. They're about this big. They're about the size of a small little rat or a small little mouse. They're very cute. They don't bite. They do get some kind of mites or some type of little bugs, little mite things, which I'm assuming that a lot of small animals that size usually get, which is no big deal. You spray them with some little dust or whatever, but they're cute. They're kind of fun. You could actually
just shake them real hard and they all fall off.
Exactly. They're kind of fun. And then you got the hamster thing, which is I'd say more domesticated. It's easier to get to know. It's got more of a personality. It's got better characteristics. You can actually hold it. They won't run away from you. And then of course you got the guinea pig. And I made the mistake by having a little joke played on my daughter, because I wanted her to think her gerbils got really, really big, really, really fast. And that's when I got the guinea pigs, and we had a little joke going there. And she actually thought that the gerbils had gotten pregnant, and they just blew up. And knowing that I was probably going to be stuck with these guinea pigs, well, like a lot of people did, and I'm assuming that a lot of people probably got, like guinea pigs and bearded dragons for the holidays. Went down to Ed's Pet World. They got some special exotic pet for Christmas from Santa Claus. You don't really look at how these things are going to multiply, because you obviously want to have more than one. You want to have them.
Do you want to have more than one?
No, you don't. No, you don't want to have more than one. You really don't. I think as a parent, you always think they have to come. If you get one hermit crab, you have to get two hermit crabs. Or if you get one gerbil, you have to get two gerbils, right? So no, you don't. You really don't. So as a parent, stop thinking that they need buddies. They need friends. They don't need buddies, and they don't need friends, because you know what buddies and friends do? They get into trouble together. They get in trouble together. Particularly when there's one that's a female and one that's a male. We have to stop telling ourselves as humans, well, yeah, just because it's a male and a female, they may not like each other. If they're a male and a female and they're animals, they're going to like each other. They're going to figure out a way to like each other. Yes, that way, right? So we started having guinea pigs, and now we're on our third brood in the last 200 days. So, I mean, you do the math. So we're having 3 to 4 guinea pigs every 62 days.
Are you selling these? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Are you a guinea pig? Are you a guinea pig breeder? A low key guinea pig breeder?
I don't know what to do with them, Doc. I don't know what to do with them, because so I went over and talked to a friend of mine she's in her 70s. And they're super nice people, really good Christian group from my old neighborhood. I went and visited them last night. And I was telling her about these guinea pigs. She says, well, what are you going to do with them? And I said, I don't know. She goes, well, just let them go, right? And I said, what do you mean? She goes, just let them go. And I said, And she's, dude, she is like super Christian, just straight laced. I mean, wouldn't harm a chipmunk or a squirrel. She would never harm a bug, right? She's like, well, you just put them out in the backyard and let them go. And I was like, that's how we've changed, because that's what our generations, that's what my dad would have probably done. Just put it in the backyard and it'll figure it out.
That's hawk food. Well, it's hawk food.
Is it not? And so I'm kind of, because I've thought to myself, I could just let them go in the backyard, but then I want to tell, I don't want to lie to my kids. I'm going to tell my kids that someone took these things, because if I just tell her I let them go in the backyard, then I'm on the hook for this thing. And again, we're not talking like one, we're talking like now I've got 8.
And I think you need to try to set up a guinea pig breeding program and make some side money.
They go for about $35-$40 a piece. I don't even want to sell them. I just want to make sure they have a nice home, because everyone that I have tried to give these things away to have had guinea pigs in the past, and they'll start laughing at me. They're like, oh no, oh no, we're good. We did the guinea pig thing. We did the guinea pig thing, is what they say. Well, no, we're good. We did the guinea pig thing. No, it's like, it's the one little trap, the little secret that no one tells anybody about. Don't get guinea pigs, because you will have 100. They're like rabbits. Now see, rabbits are different, because you keep rabbits outside, right? You don't leave rabbits inside. I don't know a lot of people that domesticate their rabbits unless they have a special rabbit room down in the garage or something like that, because they poop and make a mess like everything else does. So
I've got one of my former employees has 2 big bunnies, and she's trained them to use a litter box.
See, that's great.
That's awesome. They live inside. They're trained to use a litter box, and lots of teachers have bunnies. Lots of teachers have bunnies for their classroom, their classroom pet. We get calls occasionally from people, and it's usually not very good calls, because no one's been taking care of the bunny, and they don't know that the bunny's sick, and then but we don't do any exotic work at all at the office. But I have a really good friend of mine that sees a lot of fish shows with me. He's got 2 guinea pigs, and his kids love them. And they've gone through guinea pigs. They die, they get more. So there are guinea pig families out there. Okay. You just need to market to them, and then we're rolling, baby.
All right. Do you know where to market these? You want to help me? You want to go along with me on this? I'll give you a side cut.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll get a logo together, and I'll get my MySpace page back up and running.
Okay. If you're serious, see, I don't know if you're BSing me or not, dude.
I'm totally BSing you. No, but I seriously do have a friend whose kids love guinea pigs, and they have gone through several of them.
They're killer. And I'll be honest with you, I'm getting to the point where I can't afford them. They're expensive. They eat a ton of hay. They eat the Timothy hay, and they have to eat
expensive.
Hay.
Timothy hay is expensive.
It's $23 for a bag that lasts me about a week. I'm running about $100 a month now on Timothy hay. I'm trying to put hot dogs on the table for my kids. I don't need to be taking care of these damn guinea pigs. I'm like, hey, listen, this is getting a little crazy. And so, like, I'm throwing stuff like I usually throw into the trash compactor or something like that, sprouts and things like that. I got a separate pile for that crap. Now that I don't even put it down the drain, and I'm just throwing that in there. It's like a compost pile.
You need to graduate to chickens. So you can feed them the compost, and then the chickens will at least give you some eggs.
And we could probably do this. We might as well just do this whole show on animals that people think that are really great ideas. That are really cool, because let's step it back a little bit. So let's talk about what you've had. See, I've had chickens. As the fun dad, I'm the fun dad. We want to have animals, but we want to have animals that have animals, because that's a really cool thing. And we've talked about this on the show. You've seen baby giraffes and baby bears and baby all kinds of coyotes and things like that, and deer. It's really cool to see that birthing process. And so we did chickens, and then we ended up having baby chicks, and then of course baby chicks turn into baby roosters, that's probably the worst thing you've ever heard in your neighborhood. You're just praying that one day you don't hear this. And it sounds just like that. It sounds like someone trying to make a rooster sound in your backyard, and it sounds like, and you're like, oh no, please Please tell me that. And then you think, well, maybe it's just a chicken's got something caught in his throat and he's just trying to clear his throat. It just sounds like a rooster, but it's no. If you hear that, you have a rooster on your hand, and then it's on then, because then you're talking, you don't eat scrambled eggs anymore. The scrambled eggs are now chickens. Now you got chickens. So we did that. I had the brilliant idea of having goats. And I got my goats from Dr. Jerry up there at Old Baker Farm. We used to have the goats up on the opening drive that used to pick our Super Bowl winners. And we'll do it again coming up here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to go up there and I grab one of his goats and he picks which pile he thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl. And for a while they were like 9-0 or 10-0. It was amazing how good these goats could pick. And then I was on a trip to Las Vegas for a NASCAR race, and my wife, who's my ex now, calls me up. She says, we've got a problem. I said, what's this? She goes, we have baby goats. And I said, what do you mean baby goats? She goes, we have baby goats in our backyard. And so I didn't even know that one of our goats, because goats have chambers for their stomachs. They have like
ruminants.
What are they called?
They're ruminants. They're in there's a category of animals called ruminants. So cows, camels, goats, alpacas, all these animals have multiple stomachs. They don't just have a stomach, they have a rumen.
Yeah.
So that's where you get the term, well, I'm going to ruminate on that. I'm going to think on that, because the rumen is basically a chamber of the GI tract that houses ingesta and bacteria. It's almost like a big vat of just GI contents. So anyway, ruminants. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have an extra stomach.
You'll never hear a goat say, I don't have the stomach for that, because they do have the stomach. They do have the stomach for that. And I think it's like 4 or 5 different stomach chambers. That's why they can eat all those weird, strange things and pony it away. They're good to go. So we had the baby goats, and then, long story short, one got his horns cut up inside the shirt of my special needs son, was pulling around the backyard. My son thought it was the most funniest thing he'd ever been through. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good look. If my kid gets bludgeoned by a horn from a goat. And then another one of the goats knocked over one of my grills. I was making burgers one night and almost burned our entire house down. We're standing out on the side of the road, a 3-alarm fire. My wife at the time was pregnant, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I can't do this anymore. We're not going to get killed by a family of goats. So we got rid of the goats. So we've done all these small little things, and a lot of it came along with a daughter, because boys aren't into gerbils and guinea pigs. Boys are like into hermit crabs. We did the hermit crabs with the boys. I'm talking about the hermit crabs.
Yeah, I just went through the hermit crabs. Went through them.
They do the snakes. They do the bearded dragons. They think that stuff's kind of cool. Girls are more into the furry, small things. My daughter's wanting a sugar glider, and I'm like, and I'm a dad, and I love my daughter, and I'm a sucker, and I just love her so much, and I would buy her a zoo if I could. And so she's punting now for a sugar glider, and I'm like, no. And her brother's like, Dad, please don't do this. You do not get her a sugar glider. I'm like, I'm not going to get her a sugar. He's like, you said that about guinea pigs. Now we have guinea pigs. And so it is. I mean, when you walk outside this door, it gets really loud. Like, it gets really loud. Like, next week when we go out, I'll take the microphone and I'll walk into the other room, and they know when I've walked in the room, and it sounds like you're walking into Ed's Pet World. You'll hear a little jingle on the door, and it gets really loud. Like, you swear, like, if you close your eyes, you hear birds. You'll hear birds. You'll hear chattering like woodpeckers. You'll hear all these things, and they don't live here. They're not here. It's just that's what the inside of the house is starting to sound like.
They want that Timothy Hay.
I'm telling you. And the other thing is, and I'll bring this up, and I hope I'm doing a service for a lot of people out there, because dogs and kitty cats are upper echelon of domesticated animals, despite the fact that you can teach a rabbit how to do it, which I think is really cool. But so sometimes you run out of food, and so you're laughing, right? So we have all been through that situation where we ran out of dog food. It just happens. I mean, we run out of food for ourselves, for gosh sake. Sometimes we get home and we don't have any food for our family. So we're going to run out of food for our animals. And it's usually for a day or two. I'm not talking about for weeks. I'm just talking about for a day or two. And so you have to scrape the bottom of the bag or find something for it. Well, I was going to eat half a sandwich tonight, so Bruno can have my half a sandwich tonight, so he's got something to eat. And again, if a dog or cat doesn't eat for a couple of days, it's not going to kill him. It's going to be fine. Well, I didn't feed my guinea pigs. So we're doing the show on a Wednesday. I haven't fed them since Monday, and I usually feed them twice a day. And do you know what happened today? It got carnivalistic. Dude,
I was about to say one of them ate the other one.
I stuck my hand in because I had some strawberry roots. I was eating some strawberries. I thought, well, okay, they'll eat the green part, and I'll throw some whole strawberries in there so they'll have something to eat, because that's a good thing for them to have something to eat. I know it's not a dietary supplement like guinea pigs need, but for at least a few hours, I'm giving them the fresh fruit, and they should be good until I can get to the store later on tonight and get them some food. And so I'm sitting there and I'm starting to stick my hands in, and they're going after my fingers. Now they're going after my fingers. Like, normally when you stick your hand in a guinea pig cage, they'll run. They don't want to be near a human being's hand unless you're holding them 2 or 3 times a day. And these things now are coming after me. They're coming after my hands. Like they're starting to bite my hands, like, because they're hungry. The only thing I could think of is it's kind of like probably a ship full of rats. When the ship starts going down and they're starving to death. I'm not saying my guinea pigs are starving to death. Don't get me wrong. But I think they're getting so hungry that they're like, hey, we haven't been fed in a couple of days, and so we're going to eat anything that comes inside this cage, which includes human flesh.
Well, what's happening is, and I see your Sylvester over your left shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
but what's happening? This is a Looney Tunes effect, where they're hungry, and you dangle your little hand in there, and like Bugs Bunny, when he used to get really hungry, he would look at anything, and it just looked like a chicken,
Yeah.
flapping its wings. So those guinea pigs, they see your hand, and it's just like bananas. It looks to them, it's exactly like a thing of bananas or hot dogs. That's all they see. They don't see a hand.
Yeah.
They see food.
Is that true? Is that but I think you're right. The Looney Tunes thing is a perfect example, because when you get really, really hungry, you start, where the 2 guys are on the boat and the one guy starts looking at it, the guy's head turns into the chicken leg.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It made me a little uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you, because my guinea pigs don't bite. And this thing took, and usually if one will take a little bite of my finger, I'll usually just kind of slap it across the head. I'll go, get out of here, go and get, and it'll run. It wasn't running anymore. It was sitting there waiting for me to stick my finger back in that cage. And so I ended up dropping the seeds and stuff from the top, because I was like, I'm not sticking my hand in there, because I felt like I stuck my arm in there. It was going to come out a bloody stump.
What do you think you could dump in there that they would eat? I mean, what else have you given them? You given some wheat thins, or like some macaroni and cheese, or?
No, I don't give them any domesticated types of foods, I don't give them any processed foods. I will give them like Ritz crackers. They'll like some Ritz crackers. They don't, like nuts. You're not supposed to give them nuts. I've done my homework. I'm not going to give my animals anything that's going to kill them or hurt them. I'm not going to do that. I'll always look, is it safe to give whatever, grapes or raisins, and we've done shows on that. But yeah, anything short and crispy. And again, I'm not, normally it's a treat. But if you get like, again, when you're talking about getting an animal like this, and you think to yourself, how expensive can it be? It gets expensive really quick. I mean, I went from a couple of guinea pigs that I thought was going to cost me maybe $10, $12. I did homework, maybe $10, $12 a month. And now I'm over $100 a month, because I've got 8 guinea pigs. And I mean, the thing is with this Timothy hay is they eat it until it's gone. They're like dogs. They'll eat until they get sick, and they just keep eating it. And they have to eat this Timothy hay for their gestation process, or whatever they call it, what do they call that part, the stomach part, to make sure that.
Oh, the rumen?
Yeah. They have to make sure that everything's digesting. And if they don't have their hay, they won't digest their food correctly, and then they have problems.
In my head, I'm trying to work out what the name of your guinea pig selling business is going to be.
If you got any ideas, and listen, I was trying to think, is there something we could do charity? Is there a charity we could do, some type of guinea pig charity but I don't want to wish this upon, a family that, like kids, because I mean, obviously it wouldn't be as expensive to take care of because they're not dogs. You can leave for a couple of days, so you don't have to get a boarding service. I mean, they are, you know, it's not as difficult to watch a guinea pig, obviously, for 2, 3, 4 days. This is like an animal that needs constant care and needs to be boarded up at night and put it in the bathroom and this, that, and the other. These things can take care of themselves. But I'm all, if you can figure something out.
The curry corral, the curry guinea pig corral.
The Curry Corral, I could possibly do that. Hey, listen, we've talked a lot about small animals here, and of course, that's brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics right there in beautiful Homewood, and of course, also Ed's Pet World. They do wonderful work, 979 18955. They do great work down there, not only with Ed's Pet World, because they have so many great exotic pets, but then you throw in the Sasquatch Toys and Comics, and it's just such a great fit down there. And Seth is just a little off, just like the rest of us are. He does wonderful work, but I do get a lot of emails, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. There are two things I wanted to get into real quick here. First of all, we had really chilly temperatures the last couple of days. And I kind of remember this from you telling me about how hot is it too hot to leave a dog or a cat in a car. You always said if you're uncomfortable, chances are your dog is uncomfortable. Is that true for cold weather?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true for cold weather. I wouldn't. Well, and most dogs aren't outside dogs anymore, at least where we live.
Yep.
But if the overnight temperature is getting much below about 55, I wouldn't leave them outside.
Okay.
Even if they're long haired dogs, because they're going to get uncomfortable. It's not gonna be fatal.
Yep.
But anything under 55 degrees, they're probably going to be a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, just think about if I can barely stay outside if it's 60 without a jacket,
Yeah, I hear you.
So they're not going to die, but it's not going to be a fun experience for them.
Talk about because it seems like we didn't really talk a lot about this, and maybe it's because we didn't have as many developed roads. Maybe we lived more on gravel roads when I was growing up. I don't remember, but we never worried about the paw prints, as far as in getting burnt paw pads and stuff like that. What about as far as in super cold dog pads or some type of freezing temperatures or anything like that for call? Is there a problem with that?
No, you don't really have to worry about that so much as burning their pads. But the other thing is, larger animals maintain their temperature a lot better than smaller animals. So, like for example, when we anesthetize a 120-pound lab, those dogs are going to maintain their temperature for a long time without any type of external heating device.
Okay.
Like a water blanket or like a forced heated air unit. But if you have some of these smaller dogs, even 20 pounds and below, those dogs have a really hard time maintaining their temperature. So they're going to get colder a lot faster, and they're going to have trouble maintaining that temp. So for these cold times like this, it's even more important for the smaller dogs to not spend much time outside.
Okay, there you go. All right. Tell people how they can find you, my friend.
You can find us on the Facebook, Ross Bridge Animal Hospital. You can call us at 208-0301. You can email us at rossbridgeanimalhospital@gmail.com. And for all of our listeners out there, we have a brand new groomer. Her name is Samantha. She is awesome. She has kind of taken over our grooming reins. She starts January 16th, which is Tuesday. So some people in our listening area know that it's really hard to get into a groomer. Groomers can be really hard to book. They're booked sometimes months in advance. But I have seen her work, and it is fantastic. And lots of people will drive for a groom. They'll drive farther for a groom than they will for a veterinarian. So if you're looking for a groomer, we have a brand new one, and I feel like her work looks amazing. So we're excited about it.
Great stuff, man. We'll do it next week.
Let's do it.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.